Dear student, today I would like to deliver my class 1, The Tempest, William Shakespeare, presented by Professor Dr. Muhammad Aminul Haque. First, I will give you an introductory point. Introduction. The Tempest is a romantic play of William Shakespeare. The playwright had shown his maturity of intellect and knowledge in this play. The play opens with a shipwreck. The passengers are very important and distinguished personages. They are Alonso, the king of Naples, Sebastian, his brother, Antonio, the usurping Duke of Milan, Ferdinand, the son of the king of Naples, Gonzalo, an honest old counselor, and others. A terrible storm is blowing at sea, carrying thunder and lightning. So all the passengers are furious and they are screaming to save their life. So at the beginning of the play, we are introduced to a situation that is a ship has been wrecked in the sea, and some characters, especially some passengers, are suffering from the calamities caused by the shipwreck. The passengers are Alonso, the king of Naples, Sebastian, his brother, Antonio, the usurping Duke of Milan, Ferdinand, the son of the king of Naples, and Gonzalo, an honest counselor, and many others, sailors. So, the exposition of this play is very important, and we are introduced to these personages in the beginning of the play. And as a ship is wrecked, so the passengers are screaming in order to save their lives. The second point, the shipwreck incident related to Prospero's banishment from Milan long ago. It is a very important point. Now I would like to discuss it. The shipwreck has been caused on the sea by Prospero's magic spell. Miranda, the young and beautiful daughter of Prospero, is full of pity toward the passenger at sea. Prospero consoles her that it has been done by his magic, but the passengers will not die at all. So in this point, we are accustomed to the situation. The situation is very horrible. That is, the ship has been wrecked on the sea by Prospero's magic, because Prospero is a very learned man and he knows how to control the spirit. He knows how to control any ship in his region. So here a ship has been wrecked and the passengers are drowning and they are screaming to save their life from the shipwreck. So we are introduced to Miranda, the daughter of Prospero, who is living with his father in this island, and it is a new island. And Miranda, as a female, grows her soft corners toward the passenger who are shipwrecked. So here Miranda also applies to her father that these passengers should be saved. Then the protagonist Prospero consoles his daughter that all the passengers will be saved, but they will be brought to the shore safely, and there is no any problem for them in the ship. So this is this point we have developed here, that is they will be safe anyhow. That is, Prospero says that the passengers will be saved anyhow. He then narrates to the story of the misfortune which he and she had undergone. Miranda had no knowledge about it because she was a child when Prospero was banished 12 years ago from the Dukedom of Milan by his brother Antonio, the present Duke of Milan. So Prospero was the Duke of Milan, but he could not give his time to the state affair. He was devoted to the study and meditation. Due to this situation, his brother Antonio drives Prospero out of the country by the help of Alonso, the king of Naples, his brother Sebastian, and many other courtiers. A kind lord named Gonzalo has put a lot of necessary things, Prospero's books on the boat, and helps Prospero and his little daughter Miranda to cross the sea safely. So Prospero, along with Miranda, arrives at this new island, safely, where Caliban, the son of Lewis, half human and half monster, rules along. Ariel, with the other spirit, also lives there. Reaching the point, Prospero defeats Caliban and makes Ariel his disciple by magic. Prospero calls other spirit by Ariel. Now Prospero is the ruler of the new island. So it is a very important point for you. That is, here Prospero expresses his last life. He was the Duke of Milan, but he was a studious person. He was devoted to his study of books and meditation. He could not manage time to devote himself to the state affairs. So his brother Antonio gets an opportunity to drive him off his dukedom. So by the help of Alonso, the king of Naples, his brother Sebastian, and other courtiers, Antonio drives his own brother Prospero of his dukedom from Milan. And so here Prospero is helpless, and his daughter Miranda was a very little daughter. How it will be possible for a man like Prospero to manage his daughter? and manage his life. And he is forced to go away from his dukedom of Milan. So he would like to go to new place. So on a boat, he would like to go to a new island. Gonzalo, a very kind courtier, who also lives in the dukedom of Prospero in Milan. This Gonzalo, the kind courtier, helped Prospero, and the Gonzalo also keeps some books of Prospero and some necessary things in the board. And by this boat, Prospero crossed the sea along with his little daughter Miranda, and came by dint of by the help of nature, he reached a new island, and safely along with his daughter. And he also used to live here. But before arrival of Prospero, this island is governed by Caliban, the son of a witch, and Caliban is a half human and half monster instinct. So Caliban does not like that Prospero should live here or Prospero will live here. So and the other spirit like Ariel, and Ariel's disciple, other spirituals live here. By dint of Prospero's magic, Prospero defeated Caliban and makes Ariel his disciple. So in this way, Prospero became the governor or became the ruler of this newfound island or new island. So here is the rising action of the play we are going to discuss, or we have discussed. Now, another point that is I would like to develop romantic atmosphere between Miranda and Ferdinand. We know Miranda is the daughter of Prospero, who lives with his father in this island. Ferdinand, the son of Alonso, has been brought to Prospero's cell by Ariel. Ferdinand, the young prince, sees Miranda at first and thinks it is a goddess. That is, Ferdinand thinks that Miranda is a goddess. They fall in love with each other at first sight. Prospero wants to test Ferdinand's love for Miranda and gives him a laborious and humiliating work, but he is successful in proving himself as a true lover. So here is a romantic scene. In this romantic scene, we are introduced to two characters. One is Ferdinand, another is Miranda. When Ferdinand is brought to the cell of Prospero by Ariel, Ferdinand finds a very beautiful girl named Miranda, the daughter of Prospero. Miranda was a very, very beautiful girl, and her father has grown up her in a proper way in the island. She is grown in the natural beauty of the island. So she is a very beautiful girl. So firstly, when Miranda looks at Ferdinand, Miranda falls in love with Ferdinand. Miranda does not see any other person like him except her father Prospero in the island. But on the other hand, Ferdinand also thinks that this lady is a goddess. So Ferdinand also falls in love with Miranda at first sight. See, romantic feelings arouse in the scene, and it is very interesting to enjoy. And Ferdinand is a very exceptional personality. When Prospero wanted to test him by ordering that he would carry logs of wood, and it is a very humiliating work and very laborious work for the prince like Ferdinand. But he carries on this order for Miranda, and the Prospero was very satisfied with the dealings of this Prince Ferdinand. And so it is a very romantic scene, it is a very charming scene, I think. So another point now we would like to develop King Alonso's anxiety over his son. In the meantime, we know King Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, and other sailors are brought, and Gonzalo are brought to the shore by Ariel, and it is the magic of Prospero by which they have come to the shore safely. But coming to the shore, Alonso, the king of Naples, is very anxious for his son's survival. He thinks that his son Ferdinand is alive or not. So here King Alonso thinks that his son has been drowned in the sea, but Ferdinand is saved by Prospero's magic and separated from the other members of the sea. Gonzalo tries to console the king in his grief. So, as a father, everybody is very anxious for the children. Here is not exception for Ferdinand, that is here the king of Naples, Alonso, is very anxious over his son Ferdinand. So my next point I would like to discuss here, conspiring sin. It is very important. Ariel makes all members sleepy except Antonio and Sebastian. Antonio, the villain, instigates Sebastian to kill Alonso, the king of Naples, and Gonzalo in their sleep, so that Sebastian would become the king of Naples. As they proceed to murder Alonso and Gonzalo, the intended victims are awakened by the invisible Ariel. So the plan is frustrated. It is very important that when Alonso and Gonzalo are sleeping, Antonio inspires Sebastian to kill Alonso, the king of Naples, as if Sebastian would be the king of Naples. So it is a great conspiration, but Ariel also makes Alonso and Gonzalo awakened suddenly. So the conspirators, Antonio and Sebastian, could not murder them. So their plan has been frustrated here. So it is a very important comic scenes. The comic scene is very important here. The comic scene is very important to make the audience laugh. The audience will laugh at the sight of this comic scene. Caliban meets Stefano, who is King Alonso's butler, and Strincolo, King Alonso's jester. The trio are a source of humor in the play. Stefano is drunk and he makes the other two drunk. Under the heavy influence of liquor, Caliban begins to think Stefano a god. He promises to become Stefano's lifelong servant if the latter will manage to kill Prospero. Stefano assures him to do so. This scene is comic here. Caliban wanted to take action against Prospero, and there is a plan of murder against Prospero. Caliban comes to Stefano, the king's butler, and Trinculo, the king's, that is, king means the king Alonso's jester. These three persons are a source of humor in the play. Stefano is drunk and he makes the two others, that is Caliban and Trinculo, drank. Under the heavy influence of liquor, Caliban begins to think Stephano a god. Caliban thinks that Stephano is a god. So, Caliban promises to become Stephano's lifelong servant if Stephano kills Prospero. Stephano assures him to do that. So this comic scene is very important for the audience. The audience will make laugh at the sight of this comic scene. Caliban and Stephano's plan, that is Caliban and Stephano's plan, conveyed to Prospero by Ariel. In my last point, I told you that Caliban's and Stephano's plan has been conveyed to Prospero by Ariel. Ariel overhears the conspiring plan made by Caliban and Stephano and Trinculo and informs Prospero. Prospero is not only a simple man, but also a very powerful magician. He can call any spirit by his magic. So Prospero orders Ariel to play an irresistible tune and lured the three drunkards into a filthy pond. As Prospero knows that these three or trio plan to kill Prospero, Prospero takes an action against these three conspirators, that is Caliban, Trinculo, and Stephano. So Prospero orders Ariel to throw these three drunkards into the filthy pond, as if they will suffer there severely. So it is a very important point in the play here. So now I'm going to explain another point: banquet served and taken for harassment. Under the direction of Prospero, Ariel served banquet to Alonso and his lord because they are very hungry. After the shipwreck, the passengers like Alonso, the king of Naples, Antonio, the Duke of Milan, Sebastian, Gonzalo, and other sailors are very hungry and they are very anxious. When they are about to eat, that is, when they are supplied banquet by Ariel, receiving Prospero's order to supply. When they are about to eat, the banquet disappears. Then Ariel invisibly reminds them of the wrong they did to Prospero many years ago. Ariel warns them if they are not repentant, they would suffer long and meet death for this sin. As I discussed the point, banquet served and taken for harassment. Ariel supplies food to Prospero. Ariel supplies food to Alonso, Antonio, Sebastian, but food was taken. Banquet was taken. The banquet disappeared. Then Ariel reminds these three persons, Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio, of the wrong they did to Prospero many years ago. Ariel warns them if they are not repentant, they would suffer long and meet death for the sin they committed to Prospero many years ago. Alonso, along his Lord, is frightened and repentant for the previous sin. Here, Prospero wanted to rectify these personalities like Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian, because they have done wrong, depriving Prospero of his dukedom of Milan many years ago. So Prospero orders Ariel to supply the banquet, and banquet were taken. Banquet will disappear. So these three persons will be shameful, will be harassed. Then Ariel will remind them of the misdeed committed by them many years ago. And Ariel also asks them to be repentant. If they are not repentant, they will suffer long and they will meet death critically. So these three persons like Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio are repentant this time for their sin committed to Prospero many years ago. Prospero's happiness with the guest, genuineness and depth of Ferdinand's passion for Miranda. At this time, Prospero is very satisfied with his guest's genuineness and Ferdinand's deep love for Miranda. He asks Ferdinand that Ferdinand and Miranda, will be married in due course. Prospero arranges a max by his magic spell, and the max is performed by spirit like Iris, June, and Ceres, etc. The goddesses showers blessing on the new couple. They are married happily. The next point, Prospero is dealing with Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo, the conspirator. By the order of Prospero, Ariel leads Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo to Prospero's cell. Certain spirit come. They are in the shape of dog and hounds to seize, to chase away these. Three conspirator who runs away helter shelter. Prospero asks the spirit to torment them with ashes, pains, and crumbs. Prospero tells Ariel that he will be free soon and Ariel will be fully free from his service. Prospero's softness towards Alonso Antonio Sebastian. Prospero is now softened toward Alonso, Antonio and Sebastian, who have already gone crazy. He decides to forgive them if they are repentant. They are now repentant and Prospero forgives them. Prospero pays his tribute to Gonzalo for his sympathetic nature that Gonzalo showed to Prospero many years ago. After Prospero's banishment from Milan, he then reveals his true identity to them. They are astonished to see Prospero alive. Prospero then takes Alonso and others to a cell where Ferdinand and Miranda are playing siege. Alonso is delighted to see his son alive and learns that Miranda is the daughter of Prospero, whom Ferdinand will marry. Alonso so feels happy and joyful. Meanwhile, Ariel has awakened the sailor from their charmed slumber. The sailors are astonished to see the ship's shape. Prospero now relents toward Caliban, Stephen, and Stringkilo. It is decided that the party should spend the night on the island and they should sail for Naples. The next morning, after they have attended the marriage ceremony of Ferdinand and Miranda in this island, Prospero proposes to go to his native Milan, where he will be the Duke again. Prospero tells Ariel after they all have sailed away, he, Ariel, will become absolutely free. This is the end of the play, The Tempest. Now there will be some question, probable question. Characterize the romances of Shakespeare. What are the moral lessons taught by the character in The Tempest? Question number 2. How does it form a romantic love relationship at first sight between Ferdinand and Miranda? Discuss. Question 3. What is the reaction of Caliban? Does Caliban have a legitimate complaint against Prospero? Elucidate. Question number 4. What is the final task Prospero orders Ariel to perform? Discuss. Question number 5. Write a note on the mingling of romance and realism in The Tempest. Question number 6. Write a note on the scene of reconciliation in The Tempest. This is This is the end of this lecture. Thank you.